valedictorian and salutatorian for this year's commencement have undoubtedly worked very hard these last 4 years. Both students not only worked diligently during their high school years, but all through their elementary years as well. In addition to obtaining the highest GPA ranking in their class, these two students took college courses, pushing themselves academically. I appreciate their sustained hard work during their years at Grace. It is now their time to be recognized for their achievement as they bring to you a few words. Our salutatorian will speak first. This year's Grace Academy salutatorian, Mr. PJPart2A.
Pastor Cole, members of the board, Pastor King, faculty, friends, family, and class of 2015. I wish I could start off the speech by saying 13 years ago, I was welcomed into Grace Academy's class of 2015, but I was 2 years tardy to the party. But 11 years ago, I was welcomed into Grace Academy's class of 2015. During those 11 years, this fine class taught me how to make a person's day, as well as how to ruin the next few. We've accomplished common goals together, and made mistakes together also. Though we've grown together, we've grown in our own unique ways. We've discovered each other's talents, and refined our own in order to make us who we are today. Over the years, we have seen many great friends become a part of our class. And we have also seen many great friends move on elsewhere. Thankfully, some of them came back to see us graduate today. But God has blessed us with some solid friendships. Friends that we can confide in long and rely on long after our time together as a class. So I want to say thank you. Thank you, God, for allowing me to show up fashionably late to this party. Had I come on time like a normal person, I'd have to save this speech for next year and compete with someone else for this speaking opportunity. You've provided me with opportunities to build brotherhoods and sisterhoods out of elementary acquaintances. You've planned my life better than I ever will, thankfully, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you have in store for me, as well as for my dear friends. And since we're on the topic, thank you, dear friends, class of 2015, for bringing the life to this awesome party. If I were to sum up this whole section in one word, it would be the word laughter. The hardest times I ever laughed were times when we were supposed to be quiet in class. And I guess what made them so great was the fact that we laughed together. Yeah, funny faces led to giggles. Giggles led to snot and boogers, and by then, we'd all lose it. I mean, sometimes we didn't even laugh about the same things. Sometimes we just laughed at how ridiculous our laughing noises were. Because of all the great times we've had together, I can honestly say, without a doubt, that we all know each other's laughs, some a little easier than others. On a more serious note now, you have all taught me what camaraderie is. In sports, I remember receiving the most support from my fellow classmates. We've helped each other prepare for tests as well, or at least tried to. And by the looks of it, it worked. Here we are. So, thank you for making camaraderie fun and enjoyable over the years. Teachers and staff, thank you not only for teaching and staffing, but also for being available to answer our repetitive questions. You've opened up to us and listened to our random complaints. You've seen what we are capable of, and have shown us that a little effort goes a long way. Sorry for that. You've provided us something to eat if we ever forgot our lunch, and you kept us safe when we goofed around. Thank you for your patience and endless support. Mom, Dad. Thank you also for your patience and endless support. Thank you for changing my diapers, literally and figuratively. You've helped me learn from my mistakes and discipline me. Thank you for pushing me to do my best, even though I've complained about it countless times. And to all the parents, thank you for sacrificing your time and finances to make this colorful class of 2015. We wouldn't be who we are today without each other. Before I end, I'd like to look back at a few more Grace Academy memories one last time. Like how the elementary class was separated, A and B. I was in the B class. All the kickball tournaments that we had on the blacktop. All the yogurt explosions. It's just ridiculous. The tech decks we used to play with, I don't even have those anymore. Silent speedball, remember that? Whenever it rained outside and we couldn't play outside, we played silent speedball. Hiawatha's childhood. That has a special place in our hearts. All the holes we left in Mr. Rotz's wall. At lunchtime, nose goes. 9th grade environmental science, when we had about 3 different teachers. The King's Feast as a welcoming party for Mr. Cole and his family. And my personal favorite, guess what?
What?
Chicken butt. Proverbs 17:17 says, "A friend loves at all times, and a brother's born for a time of adversity." Thank you, class of 2015, for sharing so many wonderful memories with me. I love you all.
This year, 2015 Grace Academy valedictorian is Jocelyn Corporal.
As a precaution, I know my fellow classmates and everyone that knows me well are slightly nervous because they know that I am not concise. I promise that at the latest you all will graduate before nightfall. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Appleby, Pastor Cole, members of the board, Pastor King, faculty, friends, family, and class of 2015. I was always told that great speeches started with interesting introductions. Thanks, Mr. Rotz, wherever you are. Most often to catch the audience attention, speakers start with quotes or interesting stories. As I was writing this, the plethora of stories, quotes, and experiences about the class of 2015 all came together in my mind to remind me of the song, Favorite Things. If you aren't connecting that reference, it comes from The Sound of Music, and if you still don't get it, then we need to have a talk afterwards. For our class, if you asked us our favorite thing about Grace Academy, we would probably all start talking at the same time, but after we got through that, we would agree that it's the people. Our loving teachers, the friendly staff, and fellow students are who have made our experiences at Grace Academy. Teachers, so often we've had classes where you stop to reach into our lives and talk through the many things that are stressing us out. For me, this was not uncommon through all my elementary years as well. We've always been comfortable in coming to you for tough questions, tough school questions, or prayer in the even bigger questions. The bottom line is this: Grace Academy teachers are sacrificial and selfless. They have given so much to invest in our lives and education, and I speak for the entire class when I say, we notice that, and we appreciate all that you do. The same goes for the Grace Academy staff, many of whom have stayed consistent throughout the years. The same people that cleaned me up when I was sick in kindergarten received the multiple annoying requests for transcripts this year. Coaches, staff, counselors, teachers, your guidance has gotten us this far and will propel us into what's to come. The students at Grace, when I'm asked how much I'll miss each of you, I say that I feel like I'm leaving my brothers and sisters. Each of you are so precious to me in the class of 2015. Some of us have grown up together and others have just met this year. Thank you for letting us be part of your lives, teaching us about different cultures and backgrounds, and sharing your talents on the sports fields and courts with us. We will miss each and every one of you. As for my fellow class, I think about all my favorite things about each of you. Some of us are part of the elementary nap time crew, which, side note, I kind of think we need naps more now than we did then. But we've also had the pleasure of adding several, even just this year. And guys, look how far we've come. We've had struggles and disagreements, like who can forget fighting over music choices or arguing the senior gift last year. But I believe that those things have only grown us together. For the end of the year interview, I was asked what makes our class unique. I said our class is most certainly stubborn and set, for better or for worse. And we know what we want and what we think. Our minds aren't easily changed. We are also diverse. In this group, we have all-state basketball champions, administrators of nonprofit groups, award-winning painters, world missions travelers, exchange students from all over the world. The intended majors for next year include everything from graphic design to zoology. I may not understand all those things. My freshman art portfolio could be compared to third graders. But I see the incredible talents and interests that each classmate has been gifted with. When I'm asked about the school I go to, I'm then asked how many people are in my class. Wow, you're only graduating with a class of 20? My response is, no, I'm not only graduating with a class of 20, I have a graduating family. I really wanted to close with a journal entry that I made at the beginning of the year. So here we go, if you guys can just reflect. November 23rd, or a little bit after. This is the first week of school. We leave summertime and the long days to get back to classes and scheduled lunchtime, which is the hardest thing for some of us. The early morning is always brightened by the faces of friends and teachers who we may not have seen all summer. Back to school days have its pros and cons, but for us it can be like a family reunion. We've become used to the excitement every year, seeing familiar faces and getting back on schedule. However, this year is different. It's our senior year. There's no better word to describe your last days than bittersweet. I know that there are about 9 months until we are sitting on the stage at graduation, but I start to realize all the things I'm going to miss about being a high schooler at Grace Academy. That contributes to the bitter part. Moreover, it's stressful to consider all the choices that our class will be making in the next few months. I can't imagine all the countless hours spent on college applications, the gas money for trips to tour campuses, the extra investment in dual enrollment, and all of the backflips required for furthering our education. I think of every bright student in my class coming in through the doors for their last time. And I think about all the places they could choose to go in their future and the impact that they are going to have. These are tough choices to make, but there is also an incredibly sweet part. In the first week of school, each individual may not know his or her next step in life, but we have an all-loving God who does. He knows where he wants each of us to serve and how to direct us there. I trust that he will place the right people and circumstances in our lives in the next year that will open and close those doors. He knows where he wants us to grow and how to mold us into his hands. 9 months seems so far away, but I know it will fly by. This may seem bitter, but we have days to be filled with sweet memories with our senior class and new, exciting, adventurous paths to which God will guide us.